Okay, I think I might as well get started. We seem to have quite a few people migrated over to the social science breakout room. To begin with, to introduce myself, my name is Nigel Ketley. I'm the Academic Director for Education and Social Science here at the Institute of Continuing Education. And over the next 25 to 30 minutes, we're going to be looking at some of the social science courses that are available for students to select from uh, at the Institute of Continuing Education, soon to be PACE. I'll just ask at this point as well my colleagues to introduce themselves as they'll be participating in the presentation. Raj, did you just want to introduce yourself?
Sure, yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Raj Bali. I am the course director for the undergraduate certificate in strategic business and management, as well as our new entrepreneurship venture creation course.
Brilliant. Thanks, Raj. Julia, to you.
Hi, everybody. First of all, just like to confirm if you can hear me well, because otherwise I can change my sort of hearing system. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you very well.
Yeah. Okay. So, hi, everybody. I'm Julia. I'm the course director of the undergraduate certificate for cognitive psychology, and I'll be really happy to answer any of your questions tonight.
Brilliant. Thanks to both of you. Could I just make a few points about housekeeping? The presentation that we're going to give will last about 25 minutes. In that time, you can use the chat function, and we'd strongly encourage you to use the chat function to place any questions. So open the chat function, type in your questions, and we'll deal with those at the end of the presentation. Reflect on what we're saying, think about what is of most interest to you. You can ask questions about specific courses. I'll chair the question session and pass those on to appropriate people, or you can ask questions more generally about studying at the Institute of Continuing Education. So, what we're going to cover this evening, we're going to talk about undergraduate certificates in sociology and politics. Those are my areas, and I'll be presenting briefly on those. We're going to discuss strategic business and management, entrepreneurship, venture creation, which Raj will be speaking to. And we're going to talk about cognitive psychology, which Julia will be speaking to. So we've already introduced ourselves. I'm Nigel Ketley. I'm the academic director with overall responsibility for this portfolio of courses. But in addition to my two colleagues who are course directors for their specific programs, we're very fortunate to be joined by a student representative, Nella, and I hope Nella feels able to contribute towards the end of this presentation and make a few comments about the experience of studying at the Institute and what they found particularly helpful, beneficial, the things to think about realistically before taking on study. So straight in, to talk about undergraduate certificate in sociology. For my sins, I've been studying and teaching sociology now for nearly 40 years. And after 40 years of studying it and researching it at Cambridge, I still absolutely love the subject. And for me, what is absolutely fascinating about sociology is in terms of the people that it attracts to study, we have an incredibly diverse and inclusive group of students. Students of all ages, all nationalities, different ethnicities. It really attracts a very wide range of students. And that is particularly helped by the fact that our courses are now offered online, and we can draw students from a global community who are interested in studying what makes society work. So people are studying the course both for personal enrichment, professional development, a desire to progress to study, for example, a full undergraduate degree in sociology and/or sociology and politics. The precise nature of the content of the course starts, as many sociology courses do, with questions like, what is sociology? Covering its theoretical origins, its historical origins. So the discipline dates back to at least the 1880s. And we debate the scientific nature or otherwise of the discipline and talk about, for example, can we study society in a scientific manner? Unit 1 is covering many of those foundational ideas which prepare you to study real issues in sociology and society more generally. So the course has a focus on issues of social inequality by gender, ethnicity, social class, and also we talk about contemporary policy. So one of the things I'm particularly interested in at the moment is the COVID-19 pandemic and the government's policy response to that, and how adequate or inadequate it was, and how we assess that. So the units of the course are structured, I hope, in a really logical manner. Unit 1, an introduction to sociology, history, origins, insights, value. Unit 2, some of the core ideas related to social inequality. Questions when we think about gender. In the media at the moment, we've had a lot of debate on, the Supreme Court ruling related to women and biological sex. We debate the nature of gender, its definition, inequality, how that inequality limits life chances for people. Probably the most exciting unit is Unit 3, where we talk about sociology of the life course, education, health inequalities, and contemporary social policy. So over the 1 year of the program, you're assessed in lots and lots of different ways. So we use key concepts assessment, review of a journal article, 3 essays, 1 a term, writing a project plan, actually imagining you're out there collecting data and doing your own research. And what would I pitch as the benefits of this course? Well, having studied it for a long time, I think for me, the key things and benefits related to sociology are not just transferable skills, but personal empowerment and creating the active citizen. It's about allowing you to understand how society works and giving you the power and the knowledge to make decisions about your life. In a very similar way, I'm also heavily involved in the certificate in politics. And unlike sociology, the certificate in politics is aimed at those who have an interest in power, political ideology, political parties, the global community, and power inequalities in the global community, and relationships between states and regimes in the contemporary world. So it will ask questions like, think about what's going on in the United States of America now, the election of Donald Trump, Trump tariffs, policies on immigration. We saw today the election of a new government in Canada. How is that going to impact on the relationship between the US and Canada, given the expressed desire of creating Canada as a 51st state of the United States of America? So in politics, we're dealing with some of the really sort of enduring questions of political analysis. What is power? What is legitimate authority? What is the origin of the modern state? Where does it come from? What does it mean to be a liberal democracy in the contemporary world? And how are such democracies under increasing challenge from a range of autocratic states, like the developments in Russia at the moment and the growth of autocracy in other areas of the world? We'll also talk about nationalism in non-European states, with a specialist looking at non-European political systems. And finally, we'll talk about how politics is practiced in the modern liberal state. So in the British context, we're not just focused on political parties and government, but power expressed through pressure groups, trade unions, etc. Don't know where that came from, but still. So the units and structure of the course are Power, Politics and the Modern State, States and Regime, Liberal Democracy in Practice. Like the certificate in sociology, we have a diverse range of assignments involved here. So we have a key concepts assignment, a key terms assignment, gently introducing you to some of the basic principles of the discipline, 3 essays, 1 per term, and a journal article. And I think in terms of benefits, again, we can talk about benefits of becoming an active citizen and developing transferable skills. But the certificate in politics is really great for anybody who wants to progress either to involvement in politics and political activity or to study politics at a higher level. But it's also interesting for people involved, for example, in non-governmental organizations in different parts of the world. Having said my bit about sociology and politics, I'll hand over to Raj to speak to you a little about strategic business and management and entrepreneurship. So Raj, over to you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Nigel. And again, welcome to everybody here. So for the undergraduate certificate in strategic business and management, so this is the course for which our guest Nella, you will see in the room somewhere, is also present. She completed the course earlier this year, and I had the great pleasure of meeting her in person just a few weeks ago. So just to let you know, she can give you the inside track of what goes on. So very much the same format as the previous 2 courses. So as we can see, the program is really designed for those of you interested in seeking to deepen your understanding and knowledge of business strategy, finance, and marketing. It's really suitable for professionals who perhaps aspire to leadership roles or managerial roles, or those looking to enhance their strategy-based thinking, or indeed their cross-functional business skills. In terms of the content, well, we offer an integrated approach to some of the core business disciplines, which we'll talk about in a second, focusing really much on strategy-based decision-making and the overall language of the contemporary boardroom. We hope that students will explore the practical realities of financial reporting, while also building proficiency in marketing and overall corporate communication in terms of strategy. One thing to point out here, as with the other course I'll talk about, we do place an emphasis, excuse me, on real-world application, insight, and cases, and the associated skills required to operate effectively in what is a very fast-paced, competitive business environment. The units, as we can see on the screen, Unit 1, Strategic Management. Sorry, my screen's misbehaving here. Excuse me. Here we will analyze business environments, competitive positioning, and organizational strategy. We'll look at key frameworks such as PESTLE, Porter's 5 Forces, and the Balanced Scorecard. Unit 2, we move on to accounting and finance, where you will gain fluency in financial statements, ratio analysis, budgeting, and the role of finance in overall corporate planning. We finish with Unit 3, marketing. We understand how marketing supports an organization's goals. Topics include branding strategy, digital marketing, customer segmentation, and integrated communications. In terms of the assessments, each unit includes 2 varied ways of checking your personal understanding, designed to consolidate and effectively apply your learning. These span a strategy-based essay to test conceptual and applied understanding, individual presentations to develop your communication and skills to influence, excuse me, a podcast which allows you to creatively engage with a specified business topic, and a reflective report This encourages critical thinking and your own personal development. So as with Nigel's courses, hopefully by completing the course, what should happen is you will develop a whole gamut of higher order skills, but focusing on strategy, you should be able to strengthen your own strategy-based thinking, your decision-making skills. You will gain confidence in interpreting and using financial information. You will enhance your marketing and communication abilities, helpful for, of course, leadership roles. You'll build a professional portfolio of work completed at a high level that demonstrates your capabilities to would-be employers. And hopefully you're better equipped for progression, either onto another course or into managerial roles within your company or outside the company. Next slide, please.
Sorry, the slides seem to have frozen.
Okay, no problem.
There.
No problem. Thank you so much, Nigel. So the second course, the Undergraduate Certificate in Entrepreneurship Venture Creation, bit of a mouthful, I know. This is a new course. This will hopefully be running this September, October onwards. Okay, so we'll look at our section headings once more. The audience is this. The course is for those of you interested in key aspects of innovation, entrepreneurship, and venture creation. It's suitable for aspiring business owners, early stage startup founders, product innovators, indeed anyone looking to really understand how new ideas are transformed into viable enterprises. We don't expect you to have any prior business experience, but it's always nice if you have curiosity and a proactive and active mindset, of course. In terms of content, the course provides a comprehensive foundation in entrepreneurship. So we explore its vital role in driving economic growth, social impact, and technology-based advancement. Students will gain insights into how entrepreneurs identify opportunities, how they generate innovative solutions. We place emphasis on the entrepreneurial mindset, on how to recognize opportunities, and how to make value creation sustainable. So by the end of the course, you will have the tools and knowledge necessary to engage in entrepreneurial activity, whether this is independent or within an existing organization. If we look at the units now, 3 units again. Firstly, introduction to entrepreneurship. We understand the nature of entrepreneurial thinking, the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and different types of entrepreneurship. For example, social, intrapreneurship, digital, and so forth. Unit 2, ideation and business models. We look at techniques for generating and refining ideas, how to validate assumptions, and how to create sustainable business models. And Unit 3, business planning and launch. We help you craft a business plan, how to and help you understand startup finance, go-to-market strategies. Effectively, how do you move from idea to implementation? Assessment, as with all the courses we've heard so far, each unit includes 2 assessed components. Again, we try to combine theory with a more practical ethos. So this could be a formal presentation of a business concept, a structured essay on an entrepreneurial theory or entrepreneurial theories, an innovation pathway which charts the development of an idea, a reflective essay which explores personal learning and growth as an entrepreneur, a pitch presentation aimed at potential investors or stakeholders, and an implementation plan that outlines steps to operation or to put into operation a prospective venture. In terms of the benefits, well, in addition to everything we've said so far, hopefully you'll cultivate critical entrepreneurial competencies, how to recognize an opportunity, how to manage risk, and a good lesson for all of us, how to be resilient. will help you learn more practical business planning skills, market research, and again, strategy-based thinking. But overall, you should have the ability to leave the course with some confidence in how to articulate and pitch ideas to different audiences. And you'll leave with a portfolio of work that can support applications for funding, incubation, or indeed further study, as the case may be. Thanks, Nigel.
Brilliant. Thanks, Raj. That was really helpful. Julia, it's over to you. If I
Hi,
can get the
hi
if I can
everybody.
get the slide. There we go.
Thank you. I'll try to be quick, but also to comprehensive in terms of all the things that I want to say tonight. So I'll try to just provide first an overview of the course, the structure, and then I'll also say a few things about the content and main themes, and then I'll try to cover the main questions that came up from potential students so far over the past few years. So this certificate is designed to provide foundation of cognitive psychology credits, which is one of the main questions from potential students. So credits can be transferable to degree programs at other institutions, though this depends on the receiving university policies. And the course also develops transferable skills, obviously, such as critical analysis, research methods, scientific writing, useful for further study or career in psychology, education, or related fields. So this is a level 4 program worth 60 credits, and it is designed to be completed in one academic year, as Matt was mentioning before, through a part-time study. So in terms of structure, the course is divided into 3 units, each lasting 1 term. Michaelmas term focuses on core themes such as history of psychology, of cognitive psychology, psychology in general, and cognitive psychology specifically, research methods in cognitive psychology. And then we cover the main cognitive functions in Lent term, so the next term, so memory, language, perception, emotional processing, attention, consciousness, but also main debates such as free will, the relationship between consciousness and attention, and emotional embodiment theories. And then the final term is the term explores executive functions, intelligence, so higher function, and social cognition. Each unit includes 16 hours of asynchronous material, so pre-recorded lectures and readings, and 4 live online day schools. These day schools consist of seminars, discussions, and practical and demonstrations as well, sessions delivered via Zoom together with students and a tutor, sometimes 2 tutors if we have interactive lectures. So in terms of teaching and learning approach, the program uses a blended format. So we have asynchronous content related to 2 weeks before each day school, allowing you to study at your own pace. And then we have synchronous sessions, 4 per unit, each running from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And these are interactive, highly interactive. And in these cases, students have opportunities to engage with tutors and peers and discuss the lectures watched. So the teaching is led by Cambridge academics, including academic directors, but including many also lecturers and professors from the University of Cambridge who also contribute. The course is for here undergraduate, and it is, as I was saying before, divided into a sort of a blended format. So the main key is the flexibility. So you study remotely while also having the possibility to balance other commitments, but also is another key feature is the academic rigor, as you know, it is taught by Cambridge experts and including neuroscientists and psychologists. So you will be able to develop a solid critical thinking, research analysis, and scientific writing and communication, valuable for further study and careers in psychology, education, and health sciences. In terms of future careers, which is something you might be interested in, the course does provide a strong foundation in cognitive psychology, neuroscience, education, human resources, marketing, and healthcare. As I was saying before, skills like critical thinking and research method, data analysis, and communication are highly transferable to many fields. In terms of job opportunities, study opportunities and job opportunities, obviously the role graduates can pursue roles in research, mental health support, UX design, education, and corporate training as well. For further study of, as I was saying before, the credits can be transferred to degree programs at other institutions, and the course also prepares you for postgraduate study in psychology and neuroscience as well. So what is I think desirable for this program is the balance between live and self-paced learning. So the course combines asynchronous, so pre-recorded lectures, reading and tasks, exercises, but also synchronous live Zoom sessions. So this flexible approach allows you to manage your time effectively and engaging with interactive discussions also with tutors and peers. You would receive plenty of support in terms of how to manage the VLE, the virtual learning environment, and the course also includes discussions, forums, structured reading, and academic skills guidance, and the administrative staff is also available for non-academic queries all the time. I think one other point I want to make is that how you are assessed and the workload. So we have assessments that include essays, group presentations, article summaries, and a research report, and the workload is approximately 200 hours per unit. Obviously, this is absolutely individually managed, so it really depends on your pace and your studying habits. And it is since the format is so flexible and the course is part-time, and asynchronous materials is released in advance. You would have plenty of time to schedule, to build up your calendar, and and live sessions are there to give you the possibility to then develop even more profound, deeper analysis and understanding of the synchronous sessions. So there is no need to have qualification psychology first. The course is designed to be introductive, so you can, if you have an interest in the human mind and interested in the scientific method, obviously this course is for you. You don't need to have a particularly strong IT skills. You just need to have sort of no specialized software skills, and you also have the opportunity to have sort of networking opportunity and with both professionals and peers. You'll have obviously live sessions and discussions, forums with tutors, guest speakers, but also fellow students. So the course encourages a lot of collaborations and on-group projects as well. And in terms of offers, we have had a couple of students entering the University of Cambridge degree programs with the transferring their credits to other institutions and also to the University of Cambridge. I hope I covered pretty much everything you might believe interesting in this moment. I'm obviously happy to answer all of your questions later on.
Brilliant. Thank you, Julia. There are just a few last things that I want to say, and then we'll open it up for questions. Julia sort of mentioned some of the important things that I wanted to say. All of the courses that we've discussed this evening are online, and it's important for you to remember that. We're talking about online courses which use synchronous and asynchronous, in-person and pre-recorded teaching sessions. And this is important to remember because you're studying for a University of Cambridge qualification, but as Julia said, you can study at your own pace. And it's often quite scary when you start a new course with any organization, but for example, studying one at Cambridge. But all of our courses are designed specifically to help people return to study, mature students. So they are designed to ease you into studying with fully integrated study skills support and student support more broadly. Teaching methods are not as traditional as many people assume when they think about Cambridge. Yes, for online courses, there are pre-recorded lectures and there are live lectures and seminars, but we place a great deal of emphasis on student interaction. We try and promote a learning community through using, for example, online discussion forums. We also, in our live teaching sessions, use breakout rooms. We use attempts to create student conversations and learning groups and peer review. It's important to realize that you're joining a course and becoming hopefully a part of a team of learners. Sure, there's going to be quite a lot of independent reading and independent learning required of you, and you shouldn't underestimate the amount of study that is required, but that is fully supported because, for example, you have access to a course guide, syllabus, reading lists. Many of the readings are linked to through the virtual learning environment. You have a University of Cambridge library card. You can access the resources you need. And all of the courses in the social science portfolio use a lot of formative assessment. So we give you an opportunity to provide an overview, a plan of your work before you actually get started with the final assessment. And this allows your tutors and academics to comment on what they think you're doing well, what you could potentially improve on. So you're actually guided into the experience of being a student. So to sum this up, what we're really about here is trying to produce an online global community. And we're trying to create rigorous scholarly courses, but in a way which they're appropriate to mature students returning to study, and in a way that they are supported both by their tutors and academics, but by their peers. At this opportunity, I don't know if Nella is there. I don't know if you just wanted to say a few words about your experience of studying on the Strategic Business Management course.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody.
Thanks, Nella.
Yeah. Honestly, I do recommend it so much because for me, this was a completely new subject. So as Raj was already touching on it, that it's very inclusive. No matter if you're coming from a business background or you're coming from a completely different background, such as myself, they really take it at a nice space for everybody to understand, and they really take time to explain if you don't understand anything. Plus, for me, the biggest kind of benefit of all of this is that we always had hosts, so like host speakers, that kind of put what we learned into real life and how they're using the applications that you just kind of learned or did extra reading on. So it really puts it into a perspective in a way that I never had before. So just a little background about me. So I'm a neuroscience student before. I have a neuroscience background, so I can definitely tell you that this is really inclusive for everybody, and you will get everything that the professors have prepared. So yeah, I think that's a summary. But if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me because I know some of you already are asking some questions. So please continue.
Thanks, Nella. And we really appreciate you being here. And I would emphasize to everyone on the call, if they have questions for Nella about the student experience, please do ask those as we progress. You'll be pleased to know we're now at the last slide. What we're going to do for the remainder of the session, and there's about 20 minutes, please let us have your questions. Those can be questions about studying on any of the 5 certificates that we've talked about here: sociology, politics, strategic business management, cognitive psychology, entrepreneurship, or they can be much more general questions about studying in Cambridge. What I think I'll do now is I'll stop sharing the presentation, so that will disappear, and I will chair the questions that we've had. So please just bear with me until I find where the questions start. Okay, there. Okay, I'll throw these out there to the academics. Hi, can I ask about the application deadline for certificate in entrepreneurship venture creation? Raj.
Yeah, that question has actually been answered just underneath.
Yeah.
Laura's been very helpful. 18th of August.
And I think I would emphasize there, the closing date for applications for all of our certificates in the Institute is the same date. So they're all the 18th of August. Another question, Julia, I'll throw this out to you because we could all answer this. Are we graded on work? If so, would overall grade be visible on our certificates?
Yeah, so you will receive marks that have different percentages. In terms of, for example, you will be marked for essays, presentations, and so on. So these kind of assignments. The final grade is visible on your certificates, but not the sort of broken down grades. But each assignment is represent a percentage of the overall grade. So for example, 20% instead of 15%, instead of 30%. So essay tend to have a higher percentages, but in oral presentations tend to have a lower percentage of grade. But then they all represent one final grade that is shown in your certificate, but not the sort of single grades that you earn throughout the year, if it makes sense.
It does, and I would just emphasize there as well, the university and the department actually uses a marking scale 0 to 100%. The pass mark for our courses is 40%, so you have to achieve above 40% to pass a piece of work. For every assignment, you're given a particular percentage mark by your tutors, and overall, at the end of the course, you will get an average or overall mark for those assignments. Raj, was there anything you would like to say about the marking of work?
No, I think just what was going through my mind is that we market everything at ICE as a short course, but let's not get confused between short and short. By that, I mean there are various providers online. We have like edX and everything else. They also have short courses, and you can pop in and you can gain some knowledge, but it's not the same course. Our course runs for the full academic year. It is rigorous. You have to work, you have to get marked, and you get a proper certificate at the end of it, okay? So you can basically allocate 8 to 9 months of your year, please, okay? It's not a short course. It's a short, rigorous course. I hope that makes that distinction clear.
And I think that you make a very important point. We're talking about a qualification that leads to an award from the University of Cambridge. And it's important to remember that. And this actually relates to the next question. I will skip the question about whether or not this session is being recorded, because we've got the answer it is, and the recording will be made available to participants. I'd also encourage any of the rest of you to add questions as we go along. Question. I wanted to ask how many of these undergraduate certificates we can take. Is there a limit, like only 2? Does anyone want to answer that, or do you want me to?
I can give an opinion, but I guess it would be the same as yours.
I'm pretty sure
Okay.
it would. Give an
So
opinion.
don't bite off more than you can chew. Quite a few of you may be new to study or new to the contemporary world of study. I think Nella will probably tell you that if you're balancing commitments with work and with family, 1 course is probably enough. You might get away with 2, but we'd sort of tut and bite our sort of nails and tongue and everything else if you try and do more than 2 at the same time. Nella, did you want to add something there quickly? Yeah, go on.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that because you do have to do the extra work on the side. It's not just the lesson that you're gonna have. So it's the reading, it's the studying on the side too. Plus, sometimes it does go into your working hours, like the lessons and lecture plans. So you don't want to miss too much of your actual work or like real life. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there.
Great. Thanks, Nella.
Thanks, Nella. That's very useful. And I would just reiterate, I mean, Raj and I have been working together too long because he can read my mind as I think I can read his. My advice would be 1 course is enough. Think about what Julia said earlier. For each term of a course, you do 20 credits of study. 20 credits equates to 200 hours of notional study, and you're trying to fit that round the rest of your life, job, family, and other commitments. The Institute has a policy where we don't allow people to study more than 2 undergraduate certificates simultaneously. But even then, I think it's a stretch and very demanding. So my advice would be try and keep it to 1. Next question. Question for venture course. How long must the essays be? Regular reflective. Is the implementation plan the same as the go-to marketing?
Okay, I can take that, of course. I emphasize this is a level 4 course. I'm going to keep saying that. This is a level 4 course. So it depends on the weighting of the actual assignments on this course. Word limits are either 1,500 words or 2,000 words or their equivalent. We say that because a podcast, we've sort of factored in a sort of notional amount of time. But in answer to the number of words, either 1,500 words or 2,000 words. As to the GTM strategy, well, we know there's a slight difference between that and the broader implementation plans, but do remember that what we cover in terms of theory might not just be in the formal classes, but also via cases or contact with our guest speakers. So they may give you a little bit of knowledge there as well. So I hope that helps.
Brilliant. Thanks, Raj. Julia, there's a question here for you. Can this psychology course lead to a medical studies in future? And I don't do any science subjects in my A-levels except psychology. So the question is, can it actually lead to medical studies in the future?
It can lead to medical studies in the future. Obviously, what this course gives you is introduction to neuroscience and neuroscientific methods. So in terms of approaching scientific articles and the experimental methods and anything related to that. So research skills that also includes understanding a scientific paper, analyzing a scientific paper, writing a scientific paper as well, but also familiarizing with the neuroscientific methods that go from neuroimaging to techniques such as TMS, and in general, sort of giving a broader but solid understanding of how the link between the mind and the brain. So the course doesn't go further into the neuron and single groups of neurons and how they work, because that would be biological psychology. But yes, it does give you quite a solid understanding of the link between the brain and the mind. So in terms of how the organic matter is linked to the what we call thought and thinking. In terms of transferable skills, as I mentioned before, you will be dealing with this course a great deal with scientific paper, which is just this sort of the same stuff you deal with healthcare studies in general. So yes, you can definitely find it really helpful. I strongly suggest that you take into account, consider this course if you are slightly leaning towards more neuroscientific sort of approaches rather than other approaches. So if you plan to pursue a career that is remotely connected to mental health and psychology or neuropsychology in general. I don't know if I covered the
You did.
question.
Thank you. I'm going to try and speed up our answers now because we have about 15, 16 new messages and 10 minutes to get through them. So can we keep our answers as brief as possible? Will you issue visa letters for me to travel from the USA for in-person socials? I'm not sure of the answer to that. You need to speak to the registration team, and you can email the registration team. Their email address is on the website. Next, I'm interested in the certificate in cognitive psychology. Would it make sense to do the short course in May, Introduction to Cognitive Psychology and Neuropsychology, to have a taste of what the full year course will be like? Julia?
Yes, it make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I agree. For example, if you're interested in sociology and politics, we run short courses in sociology. I'm doing one in July. They always help you get ready for a certificate if you're interested in studying it. Hi, I have a question. What does this mean? By students who have successfully completed the certificate in entrepreneurship, venture creation, and the certificate in entrepreneurial practices may apply to be awarded the certificate of higher education in entrepreneurship worth 120 credits at level 4. I mean whether the certificate of higher education is prevalent to undergraduate degree. Raj.
I think that probably means equivalent to an undergraduate degree. I think that's what I meant. No, it's not. Level 4 is broadly year 1 of a typical undergraduate course, okay? So level 4 is year 1, level 5 year 2, level 6 year 3, level 7 is masters. So if you take one of the certificates, that's broadly equivalent to half a year 1 course. The certificate to which you refer, the certificate of higher education, that would be the full year. So it's not equivalent at all. It's equivalent to 1 year of a full-time undergraduate course.
Thanks, Raj. I can answer the next question. What is SEEK? On the course page, there is a link, but the URL is broken. Our site is no longer available. SEEK is the South East of England Consortium for Credit Accumulation and Transfer. It has been absorbed into the University Association of Lifelong Learning, UAL. I found out about a month ago that had happened and the link is broken, so the link should be corrected. Basically, SEEK provides level descriptors for undergraduate courses in England. So it is an organization which helps us describe and determine the level at which we should be teaching at. What is the learning system used at Cambridge? Is it Canvas? No, we used a Moodle-based platform for our VLE. So it's not Canvas, it's Moodle. The synchronous sessions are early morning or afternoon. I did a course at Cranfield and I was getting up at 4 a.m. in the US. I think I can only advise you to, every course is going to have slightly different timings. So you need to think about a particular course. The courses that I teach, sociology and politics, we deliberately choose the times to try and avoid people getting up at an ungodly hour. But please remember, every live session is recorded in Zoom and the recording is uploaded to the VLE. So if you do miss a teaching session because of its timing, you can access a recorded version of that session. can I start with one course and then switch to another one next year? You can start with one course this year, complete the course, and then do a different course next year. I think that is the most sensible way forward. Does a student with 2.7 years living in the UK would a student be eligible to apply for a scholarship or apply like an international scholarship? I think Monica Kelly gave the answer to that question at the beginning of the presentation. All of the information about the bursaries available in the Institute are provided on the website of the Institute, and therefore you need to go to the Institute website, look at the list of bursaries and check the conditions and eligibility criteria. Does Cambridge Learning System give early access to learn about Cambridge's educational standards? Cranfield did this well, and I performed well in my studies. Raj, do you want to take that one? You're on mute, Raj. You're on mute.
I do beg your pardon. I'll get used to this system after 4 or 5 years, I promise you. Yes, we'll give you access to the virtual learning environment around about a week or two before the classes start. On that, you will find all sorts of links, including the ones to which you refer.
Next question. As the programs are designed to be studied flexibly, how far in advance are the recordings, reading lists, and assignments released? I think all three of us would have a similar answer to this. Briefly, Julia, do you want to answer that?
It's 2 weeks in advance.
Spot on. It's nearly always 2 weeks. Will CERT say Cambridge PACE or Cambridge ICE? The name of the institute changes on the 1st of July 2025. So your certificate would say Cambridge Professional and Continuing Education. So the ICE logo or brand is being dropped. Sorry, I'm trying to see if there are any other questions that aren't just comments. If I understand correctly, it is possible to do one certificate with full-time employment. Would it need a reduction of hours at work? Can I do both? So basically, can you combine full-time employment with 2 certificates, Raj?
I think you can. It's become a delicate balancing act, though. It depends on the kind of job that you have. There is an argument that could be made that sometimes the work actually helps you do the course because your work experiences inform everything that you're doing on the course. Of course, if you're working in a non-academic context, i.e. you're doing something quite different, then obviously that doesn't apply.
Another quick question that has been answered in the chat function. Will you issue digital badges? And the answer has been given, no, at the moment, we don't offer digital badges for our courses. How many hours is required to attend for Entrepreneurship Venture Creation Weekly Monthly? We've got a minute left before the breakout room ends, Raj. So we'll leave it there, but can you answer that? How many hours?
Yeah, be very quick. So how many hours? I can't really give you it week by month, but it's 200 hours per unit. Is there a graduation ceremony? There will be an awards ceremony. What's the pathway? Let's talk about that once you're on the course. It's quite convoluted. And for financial support, please talk to the staff who will be talking to you in a couple of minutes' time.
And the last thing from me in 24 seconds, if you have any outstanding questions, feel free to email me on nck20@cam.ac.uk, and I'm quite happy to field those questions, as I said in the presentation. If I can't answer them directly, I will forward them to a member of staff who can answer them for you